Wow, I think this is probably the best look I've ever had. This is gonna be my new dating profile pic. Like you, be strong to hold the... Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this like relatively brief. I'm just gonna get right in it. Okay, I'm gonna start with this Elmer's glue stick. I'm just gonna start by running the glue over my brow. Stick the hairs down the best that I can. And what I recommend doing here is kind of looking into the mirror from all angles so that you can see if any of the hairs are still sticking up. I've noticed that when I'm looking like straight forward, it's hard for me to tell if any hairs are like sticking up, and you really won't see them until you've like covered the hairs completely in concealer or foundation or whatever, and then you end up with just like a couple of hairs sticking straight out of the glue. So I almost always will have some hairs sticking out of the front right here. So to make sure that all of that is like really smooth, we're gonna do this a couple of times, but I'm gonna take like a little, this is a setting spray, but you could literally just like dip your finger in water, or I don't know, if you're freaky, you could just lick your finger. But I'm just gonna spray my finger and then run it across where we just put glue. And this sort of like melts the glue into the brow and smooths it back down. So I'm gonna take my glue again and a little spatula. If you don't have a spatula like this, I will put a link in the description to where you can get one on Amazon. You can also just use the end of your tweezers. I've covered my brows using the end of my tweezers before. It works just as well. Make sure you don't use the pointy end though. I feel like that goes without saying, but just to be clear, you want to use the end of the tweezers, not the pointy part you use to pull hairs out of your face. So I'm just gonna take the glue and stick my spatula in there, get a little on the end of this, and then literally just like smooth this over the brows. And the idea here is that when you have like coarser eyebrows, you tend to end up with a lot of little gaps in your brows when you stick them down, so you're gonna have a lot of texture. And just by smoothing extra glue on there, it'll fill in all of those little gaps and make the texture of this area a little bit smoother. So I'm gonna get my finger wet with my setting spray again. Again, you can just use water though, it doesn't matter. I'm just doing this for the sake of ease. And I'm just really trying to stick the glue down, smooth it out, try to get rid of any little balls of glue that I can feel. What we're gonna do is take a loose powder, doesn't matter what loose powder. I'm gonna take a little bit of that on a sponge here, and once this has dried down a little bit, we're just gonna cover the whole area that you put glue on in powder. And then we can dust away the excess once it's all covered. And just grab like a big powder brush or something like that and gently dust away the excess. Okay, so now you have two options. If you have a full coverage foundation or a full coverage concealer, you can just go ahead and go right in with that and cover up the area, and then you should be good to go. If you don't have either of those, you can also use a peach or orange color corrector and put that over the area first. Because my hair is naturally black, when I cover it up with glue or like a light coverage foundation or concealer, it shows up kind of blue, as you can see. So to counteract that color, using a little bit of color theory here, you can put a little bit of a peach or orange color corrector on top, and that will cancel out the color, and then you can cover that in your concealer or foundation. I happen to have a full coverage foundation, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use that because I used that on this side and it worked pretty well. I literally just took a little bit on my finger and now I'm gonna rub it over the area, and as you can see, it's very it's very full coverage. I'm also gonna take a little cosmetic sponge and blend out the edges a touch. And now I'm gonna set that one more time with powder, just so it doesn't budge. Wow, I look a little bit like Powder from Powder. So that's it. I will see you in tomorrow's video. I'm posting a video every single day this month to close out the 1000 days of makeup. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I have been posting a different makeup look every single day for almost 1000 days. Today is day 970, so you can come hang out on my page if you want to see all that stuff, or you can, I don't know, go somewhere else on the internet. eBaum's World, Neopets, Zenga, LiveJournal. Take your pick. The options are endless. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll see you later.